What if I told you there's a pitcher dominating so hard, he's almost throwing as many strikeouts as balls, and yes, that's real, no exaggeration, no glitch. While everyone's distracted, Mason Miller is quietly doing something that might be the most impossible start in baseball history, and it only gets crazier. But the stat that truly breaks baseball logic is still coming. At first glance, this didn't look historic at all. In fact, it almost looked human. In his first 2 outings, Mason Miller threw just over 2 innings, allowed a couple of bases runners, and struck out 5. Solid, right? Nothing crazy, nothing headline-worthy. But here, where it gets weird, this would end up being his worst stretch of the entire season. Let that sink in, because compared to what came next, this wasn't dominance, it was almost a warning sign. A calm before something completely ridiculous took over. Because after this, hitters stopped having a chance. And then everything changed. In his next outing against the Red Sox, Mason Miller faced 3 batters and struck out all 3. 11 pitches, no contact, no chances, just pure dominance, and if you think that was a one-time burst, it was. The very next game, same exact story, 3 up, 3 strikeouts, 12 pitches. Hitters weren't just getting out, they were getting completely overpowered like they didn't belong in the box. This wasn't normal dominance anymore. This was something else entirely, something you almost never see at this level. And somehow this still wasn't the peak. Then came what might be the most ridiculous part of this entire run, his worst outing. Against the Pirates, Mason Miller finally looked slightly human. He struck out only 2 batters in a perfect inning, not 3-2, and yes, that actually counts as a drop-off here. Even crazier, 1 ball was put in play, a single fair contact off the bat of Jake Mangum. That's it, 1. For most pitchers, that's a clean inning. For him, it was his lowest point. That's how absurd this stretch has been. Because after this, he somehow got even more untouchable. And just when it felt like hitters had seen the worst of it, Mason Miller took it to another level. Over his next stretch against the Rockies, he faced 6 batters and struck out all 6. No weak contact, no lucky breaks, just complete domination. Pitch after pitch, he was still hitting triple digits, blowing fastballs past hitters like it was effortless. And this wasn't happening in low-pressure moments either. These were tight, high-stakes situations. Somehow, the velocity stayed elite and the control got even sharper. At this point, it didn't even look fair anymore. And this is where the numbers start getting seriously uncomfortable. Now here where the numbers start to look unreal. According to historical data, the fastest anyone has ever reached 19 strikeouts took 37 batters. That alone is elite territory. But Mason Miller didn't just beat that, he shattered it. He needed only 24 batters, think about that. Nearly an entire lineup less. No one else is even in the same conversation. This should be the headline. This should be the stat everyone's talking about. And yet, it's not even the most shocking part of his dominance so far. Because the next number shouldn't even be possible. And then you see the stat that makes no sense. Mason Miller has 19 strikeouts this season and has thrown only 20 balls. Read that again. He's almost striking hitters out as often as he misses the zone. That shouldn't be possible at this level. And it gets even crazier when you break it down. Now think about what that actually means. Mason Miller faced just 24 batters and nearly all of them either struck out or never even saw a ball. That's not just dominance, that's complete control. The kind that completely breaks how baseball is supposed to work. Which raises a much bigger question. So now the question becomes unavoidable. Are we watching history? Mason Miller isn't just dominating, he's redefining what's even possible for a reliever. Some believe this pace could reset the standard entirely. And if that's true, the rest of the league might already be in trouble. Because this might only be the beginning. So this isn't just a hot streak, it's something baseball has never seen before. Mason Miller isn't just dominating hitters, he's rewriting the limits of pitching itself. And the scariest part, if this is only the beginning, the rest of the league might not be ready. Because what comes next could be even more unreal.